Yes. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the special talk on crimes that are happening on social media. Today, I'm your host today, Rupesh Mittal, founder, Cyber Jagrati Foundation. Along with me, we have three panelists. No introduction is actually required for each of them. They are already very well known to all of you. So, Prerna Nigamji, uh,
Hello.
who is a fashion lifestyle blogger and an entrepreneur. Twinkle Segalji, Miss India Asia Pacific runner-up, and Namrata ji, blogger, sorry, from children, fashion, parenting, lifestyle, and children. So today we are gonna live session with all of three, and today they are gonna share us experiences that they have faced being an influencer on social media, because they are the persons who face a lot of things on social media. So I would like to request Prerna Nigamji to share her experiences about various crimes and abuse that she have been facing on social media. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Actually, firstly, I would actually like to say that anybody and everybody who's on internet has somewhere or the other gone through some sort of troll, and it may be in the form of comments or people actually abusing or getting into some sort of scams. And I think more or less, if I have to take being a girl, being a fashion blogger, I have been through all. And here I really want to tell everyone that once anything goes online, because that's the primary thing that everybody should know. Anything that goes online, even if we delete, there the digital prints are left. So I really want to tell everybody that whatever you are uploading, since you're there on online, you have to be very vigilant of what you put online, because you might delete it from your end, but then the digital imprints can't be deleted. It is no more your property, honestly, because anybody could use it anyway. And the recent experience that I had was about my Instagram was hacked, and surprisingly, I was actually threatened for ransom. I was asked for ransom on conditions that I go by what he says. Otherwise, he would actually delete my Instagram or sell it off to somebody else. And being an influencer where I have all the data, all my work online, it was one of the most scariest experience I could ever come across. And when it happened to me, I did not have any reference point. And I think that was the time when I realized, because I was not in a correct state of mind to put it out to everybody at that point, because my motive was to first get my account back. And once I did that, and that's when I realized that if it could happen to me, it could happen to anybody. And it began from a very simple professional email. It was not like I got, because on daily basis we get numerous messages, mails, wherein they ask for your username, password, saying that we'll get you verified, or we'll get you so and so things. So it was not even through that. It was a collaboration mail that I had received, and in no time I lost all the contacts. I mean, all the control to my account. And that's when I realized, the first thing that comes is panic. And here I really want to tell everybody, I know it's easier said than done, but do not panic, because that's not going to help. And anybody and everybody who's there on the social media has to know this, that you are the sole person, or that particular media, social media platform is the only person who can get your account back. There's no other way out, because there are a lot of people who are going to get in touch with you. They are going to demand money because they know you are in the soft spot. You want your account back. And same happened with me. I got so many random people, offering help just because they knew that I was looking out for help. So basically, I think my experience has actually taught me, there's a long story which I actually would want people to know and read about. But since we have time constraints, I really want to brief you about the things that you should be very, very particular about when you are there on any sort of social media. Firstly, always have your two-factor authentication on. That is one primary thing, and I think I missed out on it because of some technical issue, and that was one thing that let my account go off my hand. That's one thing. Please we have a lot of youngsters and they fall prey to a lot of, morph images or things like those. So for those people, I really want to tell you, please do not be scared. Just open up, because once if you open up, if you share it with anybody, the person blackmailing you, or the hacker, they are going to back off, and that's one thing. So that's the second thing I would say. Just open up. So file a complaint to the cyber cell. That's exactly what I did. And then write and reach out to all the social media platforms. They are available for help. I know the time differs definitely, but then they are available for help, and you can reach out to them through a lot of options available. And I do have a video wherein they can, I mean, if at all it has happened to you, or you've fallen prey to it, I do not want you to be in the state that I was in, helpless. I want you to have that help. You can definitely go watch that video on my YouTube or Instagram, which is Prerna Nigam Official. You will have a lot of information there. Apart from this, I really want to tell people that, since I'll just sum it up actually. So if you're there online, please keep a backup. That's the must. Even if you lose anything and everything, you'll have the backup. And backup in the form of the data that you have or another account. Because I think you are whole and soul responsible for your own safety. So make sure you take all the steps and measures.
Sure. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this amazing words which you have, sharing your experiences with us. We have got a lot of questions. I'll come back to you when we have the Q&A panel. Now, I would like to come with invite Twinkle Sehgal to please share her experiences.
All of you and whosoever is, I'm sorry.
You're in mute.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, I'm so sorry.
Yes, you're audible.
So, good evening to all of you, and thank you so much for such a wonderful introduction for all of us. And I would not take much of the time, and I would straight away pitch into the topic. And as Prerna very rightly said, that you must have, backup of your data. That is very important. So I am an actor and a model. So I was very much into all these things and the castings and how this business runs. But since jaise lockdown start hua, since that time, I also became very, active over the social media, as each one of us are nowadays. So the casting requirements and everything, they also started coming through Instagram and Facebook, and I started entertaining them. So the ek choti si aap bhi thi main bhi share kar rahi hu, so that we can directly get into the facts and what all happened with me, so that if you all go ever through the same experience, you should know what exactly you should do. So मुझे किसी ने reach out किया था Instagram पे that there was like an event company as the page suggested to me. And ये लोग इस तरीके से अपने accounts को रखते हैं, so that they'll just make sure that कि लोगों उस पे जब आए तो उनको ऐसा लगे कि ये real है, like it's organic, so that could directly आपको ऐसा, मतलब ये जो scams हैं ये बहुत organized है. That's what I'm saying. कि even they are so intellectual, if we think that we are so well read, we know a lot of things, we know how people are doing things, still you can fall in that trap. So we should be cautious about that. So how it happened is, so ek account ne mujhe approach kiya where they said that okay, we are an event company and we have seen your profile, you look like into acting and all that stuff, so you should be expecting a call from a production house. So I cannot name the production house here because the case is open, but I will tell you it is a very potential production house in Bollywood. So I was kind of, okay, fantasize about that. So that's how they prey on you, right? They will, how would you catch a fish? You'll throw a cookie to, okay, there is something to look forward to. So I was like, okay, fine, no worries. In the meantime, I'm just going through the profile just to make sure, okay, if everything is in place or not, because I gave them some of my details, my official contact and everything. In some time, I get a call, and I was like, okay, this guy is telling me that you have to forward the profile. We will take your audition, and the audition was to be taken over. A video has to be sent, and I was like, okay, it's quite in line, because nowadays due to COVID, we are not going to any place and giving the auditions. Rather, we're just doing it at our places and just sending it away. And then I checked that इतने बड़े production house से मुझे directly call आया. How is it even possible? So I was in a dilemma. A little dilemma was there. So I just went on Google. I checked whether that production house really has that number. And I fell into that trap because that number was exactly same. It was given on their official website. So here I want to talk about call spoofing. So earlier it started as a prank app. जो बच्चे डाउनलोड कर लेते थे उसमें होता क्या है कि मैं जो नंबर चाहूंगी, जैसे आपके फोन के ऊपर आएगा प्राइवेट नंबर, तो एक प्रैंक की तरीके से यूज होता था पहले कि आपके उसमें नजर नहीं आएगा कि किसका कॉल आ रहा है. सो व्हाट स्कैमर्स आर यूजिंग इट फॉर, हैकर्स आर यूजिंग इट फॉर इज कि वो अपना वहां पे जो प्रोडक्शन हाउस है उसका नंबर डाल दिया वहां पे. सो वो कर तो कहीं और से रहे हैं, बट आई एम सीइंग द नंबर एज द प्रोडक्शन हाउसेज नंबर. सो आई वाज नाउ डेड श्योर. I was like that, oh, ये तो same number है. तो मतलब I was like, okay, cool. Now let's send the things. I sent the audition. And then I started getting the emails from them. And then always take care of the domain you're getting the emails from. It should not be like Times of India का कोई gmail.com नहीं होना चाहिए वो. It should be a authentic domain that you're getting the email from, that you should keep a check. मतलब बहुत छोटे छोटे से बेसिक्स हैं, बट जब हम उस फ्रेम ऑफ माइंड में होते हैं हम वो लूज कर देते हैं. लाइक आई डिड नॉट चेक इफ इट वाज एट द रेट ऑफ व्हाट, एंड it was Gmail ID, and I kept sending my details, and to the point where I had to just pay the money. So I groom models, I take sessions of people, and I tell them you're a fool if you pay anything, even a penny, to anyone, and I ended up paying. So that was so like foolish of me, but then that was so well organized. Like during whole day, different persons were contacting me, so that I cannot just make out like if it's a scam or not. So I just fell into that trap. And later on, what I could, by the time I realized that this is something which is not actually what I thought is, then I had to go to the cyber police, where I had to file this complaint, and then I had to let them know that this big production house is involved and they should know about it, that the scam is going on their name. And they were like looking for people, because definitely this case was in their notice, because the production house was known. So I was not the only one in the market going through this, and probably I was not the last one, but it was important for me to go and get this registered, so that rest of the people, when it will come out, so that they don't become a prey of the same. So this is what happened, and what exactly I want to moral of the story is that be cautious, be very very cautious about what links are coming to you. Do not just click on any random link from any random person coming to you. आजकल Instagram पे बहुत सारे scam ये चल रहा है कि आपको 24 hours में badge. I am sure a lot of people are getting that, and especially those like influencers like us. Okay, they are getting, okay, because you have good followership, so you feel like, okay, maybe I'm the potential one. And why would Instagram just send you a DM? Just think about it once. But when we are in fancy of such thing, we are like, okay, maybe I'm the one. So don't become fool, and take care of the things which are coming to you. Do not click on any link. Do not share your passwords. Also, what is happening these days is Instagram का एक dummy page आ रहा है आपके पास. आपको लगेगा कि वो Instagram का पेज है, आप उसमें अपना login ID पासवर्ड डाल देंगे, बट वो डोमेन डिफरेंट है. Like it will not be .Instagram, it will be .something else, and you will end up putting your details, but that details are going to somebody else because it's a dummy page. So such kind of things are also in the market, and we should be aware of. And definitely, it's a good initiative by you that you're coming up with it and making people aware. So yeah, that was all from my head. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Twinkle ji. Yeah, thank you so much, Single ji. We have got few questions for you also. I'll come back to you with the questions. Now I would like to invite Namrata ji to kindly share her experiences more with, because Namrata ji, you deal more with children and all, child care and all. So how is your experience on crimes on social media with respect to more of children? You're in mute, madam.
So, hi Rupesh, thank you very much for inviting me to be a part of this session, and it was lovely hearing from Prerna and Twinkle, and I think it's incredible that all of us have been through so many experiences, and it's literally quite a scary world out there. And I really appreciate the initiative that you have taken up, through Cyber Vakil, to sort of educate everybody about the dangers that lurk on social media. I think the one thing that I'd like to tell everybody who's watching, and eventually who will watch this, is to be always very level-headed and very wary about sharing any kind of information on social media. don't just share anything in the heat of the moment, and don't just share anything when you're angry, or don't just share anything in a hurry because you just want to get things done, because that's usually the time when we slip up or we make a mistake or something or the other happens, and you end up regretting it later, and that's how we all fall prey to sort of these crimes. So you, when using social media, being level headed and being um, what should I say, being very careful, of course, but being very level headed is very, very important. So I've not faced any crime when it comes to social media as such, because
Luckily.
I've always been really wary, because honestly, I got into social media in a big way after I had my kids. So, being a mother always makes you a lot more warier about sharing any kind of information online. So, thankfully, I've not been facing any big problems when it comes to social media, but I've faced a number of bank frauds, I would like to say. So
Okay.
people people call and they say ki, aapka bank account hack ho gaya hai, and we need your pin number or your ATM card number right now, otherwise you lose all the money in your account. And they seem to be very legit, because they seem to know which account I have my which bank I have my account in, and what's the name I have my account with. So that's really, really scary, because you may sort of feel that, where are they getting this information from? And if they have the information, that probably they're legit, and you might want to give out information that you don't actually need to give to them, especially things like your OTPs, especially things like your ATM pins, or your, now your UPI pins. You don't need to give them out to anybody over the phone. Even the bank officials always send us SMSs, that we will never call you to ask for an OTP. But somehow, when we are scared, we don't really
Yes.
think of those, and we don't heed those warnings, and somehow inadvertently we sort of go into that, and we give into that. So that happened with me once. Luckily, I just stopped at one stage before giving away my password. And so then I reported the crime to the cyber cell and everything, because I
Okay.
mean, someone eventually will take care of it. But so that's the crime that I face. So just one thing that I'd like to tell everybody is that your passwords are sacred, so keep them sacred, and they are sacred for a reason. They are not meant to be shared with anybody. These days we have a lot of people, who share common accounts, and okay, I can't log into my account from my phone, can you please use your phone to log into my account? Or can you give me your phone, I log into my account using your phone. But that doesn't happen. I mean, that person is actually hacking into your account. So I think we need to be very, very careful when we are giving out our passwords or giving out our account details to anybody. Another thing that's very important when sharing on social media is geotagging is sort of become the norm. And people usually, I'm going for a drive, and they're immediately geotagging. So that's a really good way for a hacker to get access to your account, and that really should be discouraged. Unless and until your work demands it, absolutely do not share any live updates, because that's really the easiest way for people to come and find you and even hound you offline. ऑनलाइन तो करेंगे ही, ऑफलाइन भी कर लेंगे अगर उनको पता चल गया कि आप कहाँ पे है. So that's the
Yes.
one
Yes.
thing. And secondly, and also, because I share a lot of content about my kids and other children also, I always take permission from other parents if I'm sharing anything about their children. So I never tag the school, or I never share pictures of my kids in their school uniform, or any kind of logo showing with their school, or whether they're going to this park or anything, or even like my residence location. Even though a lot of pictures are taken at my residence, but I never share the location, because that's just a way of keeping everybody safe and keeping people safe online, and keeping our families safe online as well as offline. So yeah, I think these are the basic steps that everybody needs to follow. um, when also another thing, we all use a lot of apps on our phones these days. Please make it a point to give your apps only as many permissions as are actually needed. Your weather app does not need to make a call. You don't need to give that permission. I mean, your Google Meet app needs to know your contacts, but doesn't need to know a lot of other things that are there on your phone. So try, when you're using your apps on your phone, give only the minimum permissions that are needed to get the app to run. This is the easiest way for people to break into accounts and hack into phones. So I think this is also one very important point that I need to put across. And Yeah, I think just staying wary on social media and staying in the moment at all times is very important. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Namrata ji. There's a question coming up. We'll go with you first,
Yep.
and followed by other questions. Because if I'm not sure if you have seen this movie in which there was a scene in which they shared morning. A mother shares morning selfie, afternoon selfie. Her daughter likes ice cream and all. That's a very well known movie. And
Yes.
one day the kidnapper actually kidnaps the child.
Yes.
So because you share and all of this, and I think already you have shared tips for that. So any incident such where you felt anytime you do scared, or any known friend of yours have anytime reported any such incident to you, that this has happened with them.
Yeah, so I, like I said, because I never share any live updates about my children. Like, only even if I have to share an update about their school or something that they did in school, or humne yahan pe ice cream khali or whatever, I'll only do it like after they are safely back home, so that nobody else has a chance to see, what time they're there and what things are there. But I have faced friends. I mean, my friends have faced these problems. Like one of my very good friends in Bombay, she used to share live updates of her children like through the day. She is also a very popular blogger and YouTuber. So she had actually done like something a day in the life of, and she actually shared like, in the morning we do this, and in the afternoon we go here. This is where we stop every day to buy our chart, and then we come back home, and घर आके फिर हम लोग टेनिस पे यहाँ पे जाते हैं, ये टाइम से ये टाइम पे हम लोग टेनिस पे रहते हैं. So basically, she gave out all those details about her child, who was actually 5 years old at that time. And within a week, there were some people started following her on, and following her and her child. And she realized that, there was something thankfully, she realized it in time that, these people, they were following her. So obviously, they could see her every day. And because
Yes.
she's a very popular personality, everybody knew about her. So she immediately got alarmed, and she went into the nearest police station, and then she reported this, and of course she took the video down and everything. So she has faced that. So I think especially when there are children involved and when there are young women involved, it's always good to be very circumspect about the kind of information that you're sharing online and sharing offline as well.
Thank you so much, Namrata ji. We'll come back to you. Prerna ji, there is one question for you. So people are asking, how helpful was the cyber cell for you? You are in mute, Prerna ji.
To my surprise, honestly, I didn't expect them to respond as early as they did. But luckily, I could retrieve my account even before they could take any steps. So I did receive a response from them within 24 hours. I did get an acknowledgement mail right when I had lodged the complaint, and within 24 hours, I had got a call from them wherein they asked me as to what solution would I want for it. Wherein the first option they gave me was, should we just block it right there, and delete all the data on our own, rather than anything happening through the hacker. So yeah, honestly, it was a pleasant surprise, but they did.
So giving the complaint, coming here, so like rather than help, so was the giving complaint helpful a lot? Because suppose you are approaching Instagram or any nodal officer, they do ask for a complaint. So was it anywhere helpful for you? Giving a complaint.
Yes, it was. It was, because the first thing anybody would want to know is, have you actually lodged any complaint? Until the time you don't lodge a complaint, your complaint doesn't, the authenticity is questioned. So it's better, the first thing, and it's very easy. It was online in a matter of 5 minutes. I filled up the form.
So last one question, and then we'll go with the other speakers. So did you have your two-factor authentication turned on before the hack? So when the hack happened, so was
okay. So yes, it was on, but like I said, I have two accounts. I manage the account of my dog and mine with the same email ID.
Okay.
So I did not realize if you switch on the two-factor authentication on one of the accounts, the other one gets off on its own.
Okay.
So in my case, I thought that it is on the other, and I switched it on the other as well. But I did not realize that when I switched on the other, the other one got off on its own.
Oh, okay. That's an interesting thing. So it's now the next question is for both Twinkleji and Prernaji, because you're also model and lifestyle blogger. So have you ever anytime faced the trolling in yours? And if that, I know it's a very bad experience having a troll. So how do you motivate yourself? How do you come over that? How do you take positivity from that?
Okay, so am I audible now?
Yes, ma'am.
Twinkle, go ahead. Possibly I'll just answer once you do.
Okay. So it is an everyday thing that a girl, I would say, it's not about the bloggers, it's not about the influencers. Rather, it has become everyday. It's basically kind of cyber harassment, I would say, rather than trolling, because you end up getting so much stupid things over DMs that you have, like, I don't know if the guys have idea about this or not. I'm not trying to make it a gender specific thing over here, but if I go with a proportion, I think girls are facing it a lot more. So, there is obviously going to be negativity all around. There are a lot of people, if we talk about change and we say that, okay, we will talk about positive things and we will tell people not to do this, this may affect some people, but some people who do not have that audacity to, grab such things in their head, they do not have that much of, mental intellect to know or know the sensitivity of how it affects to the person to whom you are bullying or, harassing or trying to send some demeaning things. Uh, but still, I just want to say that, what you can do is you can just let people make aware about the situations that it is not at all good for the mental health for a person, first of all, and secondly, the kind of things that you are saying is very derogating, and it's very shameful, I would say.
Okay, so I would just like to add on to it that, like Twinkle said, it is a everyday story we face. And it's not just the men, even women. I mean, body shaming is everywhere. Even women do it to women. And men are a lot of time, they have obscene comments, they have our DMs full of, and some of them are actually so persistent that even if you try and ignore them, they will keep, messaging you every other hour, not even day, but every other hour. So I think with time I've realized the first thing you do is ignore. And that's the best, because you cannot let them affect your mental health or your mood for the day. But if at all it is persistent, for a few people, actually putting them out in public, because I have seen people, I've done that myself. There was somebody who was very persistent with the comments and the kind of DMs I was being sent. I put it out openly to my followers that this is what I'm getting, and I think that just turns them off to an extent that either they block you or they just change the username and they don't try and reach you. So I think the first thing is ignore, because you can't let anybody affect you or your mental health. And secondly, if at all they're there, you should just put it out, lodge a complaint, or actually put it out in open and let people know actually what the person is doing.
Thank you so much, Prernaji. One question for Namrata ma'am, because nowadays in lockdown everything is going virtual. Kids are using mobile phones or webinars and classes and education. Almost everything is happening online only now. So what suggestion do you give for children or parents who are listening us? So how do you engage your kids to not only stick on to the devices, electronic gadgets around them, and also manage proper sleep? Because I personally sleep at 12, 1, I don't know, the count is endless. So my sleep gets very badly affected. We are also having a 1 week dedicated to all the medical help which is required, because a posture, how you're sitting, how much time you're watching, your eyes, everything gets affected. So any suggestions do you want to say for especially for parents?
So I think before answering this question, I'd also just like to add on to what Twinkle and Prerna said, that it's not only, the young women and the young men who are getting trolled, it's also moms like us who get trolled, because, quite often we are told that, we are using our children for money, and, we are using our children to sort of, make money for ourselves and things like that. So it's actually quite hurtful to read those comments. And immediately, I think blocking them is the most effective thing, because once they don't have any power over you, at least that is what has worked for me. Once they don't have any power over you, then what are they going to do exactly? So that's the one thing that has worked. And with regards to screen time, I am a very firm believer in the fact that I follow this principle called monkey see, monkey do. So if your child is going to see you on the phone or on the screen all the time, obviously your child is also going to think that it's completely okay to do that, and your child is going to be doing the same. So in reality, whatever you wish your child to do, you have to follow it yourself. So if you don't want your child to spend too much time other than what is actually required for education purposes, other than that, if you don't want your child to spend too much time on the screen, you have to take it up yourself. And for people like me whose work revolves around the screen, like I'm always on my phone or always on my laptop, it is very important to explain to our children and have a clear cut conversation with them that, we're on our phones because this is what my work, like I'm on my phone because my work demands it, or I'm on my laptop because my work demands it. As a child, you don't need to do all that. So you can be doing other work other than, being on your screen or on the phones. Of course, I am also a believer in the fact that we are in the 21st century. We cannot keep and we should not keep our children away from gadgets, because, I mean, they're going to be citizens of the future. What's the point of keeping them away, right? So give them the freedom to explore, because computers and screens, smartphones, smart devices, they are very intuitive. So unless and until your child explores, they are not going to learn how to use it. So give them the freedom to explore, but always keep a track of what they're doing. Search histories, always man search histories and go and see what your child is actually doing and what kind of activities they are up to. And always have healthy discussions with children and keep the conversations open. Like if you show your child that you are physically active, your child will also want to do the same. If you read a book in front of your child will also want to pick up a book. If you follow a hobby, your child will also want to follow that hobby. So try and set the best example for your children, and definitely they will follow suit. We are here to mold our children in the way we want to mold them. We have to let them be citizens of the 21st century, as well as teach them to be responsible about their time usage. So really just set the right example, and I think you're good to go there.
Thank you so much, Namrataji. One last question for you. I know I am running out of time. So one thing is, because as you said, you should give your children freedom to explore and all. So how exactly do you manage? Because now you might have seen very cases like boys' locker room in Delhi, and very well-known cases like that, where children were involved in many various private chat rooms and all. So as a parent also, sometimes because it's just a URL with which we decide things. There are a few websites, I don't want to name them exactly, but in which private chat rooms are available, and they actually share porn, child porn, like sexual harassment is done. A lot of things happens on that. So how do you monitor? First thing is monitor that, and how do you talk start, because parents very many times feel any topic which comes regarding any of these topics, they feel papa aise mukar jayenge, mother will go there, start go doing some household chores and all. So how do you any tips you want to share with parents and IT employees that are watching us live?
Yes, of course. I have so many things to say about this, but I'll try to keep it down to a minimum. So for the first thing is, like I said, always keep the line of conversation between your children and yourself open. It's never okay to let them know that, they can discuss something with their friends or with somebody else and not discuss that with you. That's really the worst thing we can do as parents. As parents, we have to let our children know that we will always believe them and we will always trust them, and they can come and talk to us about everything and we will believe them. We may try and find out the root cause of what they're doing later, but first we will always believe them and we will always lend a listening ear to them. So that's A. B, we have to help them understand, especially our growing children. We have to help them understand that sex is not a four-letter word, right? It's a word. You have to have open conversations, and only then your children are going to treat it as a normal fact of life, as a normal thing that is done in life. If you don't have open conversations with your children, they're going to find out information through wrong means, which you don't want. So rather you give them the right information and prevent them from getting the wrong information from somewhere else, from some other sources which you really don't want them to get into. That's B. Third is, it's very important to teach children of all ages the importance of consent. Consent means only if a person says yes, it is actually yes. If a person says no, it is no. If a person says maybe, it is also not a yes. Only a yes is a yes, and that I think is most important to teach our children. More than that, it is important to teach our children about gender equality. It is important to tell them that women are not the inferior sex. You are. There is nothing that a girl. There is nothing that differentiates a girl and a boy except for physical changes in their body. There's nothing else that separates them. I think it's very important to lay down that, because most of these crimes that are done against women are a result of the patriarchal mindset, which believes that men are superior to women. So the minute we put into our children that there is nothing like that, every gender is equal irrespective of their sex, that's the first step that we take in telling them that these things are wrong. With regards to how we monitor our children's online activity, we are lucky to have two tech control freaks in the house. One is me and one is my husband, and I'm in a joint family. We have 4 boys in the house, so at different ages. So we're running into all sorts of issues, from like teenagers to teenage hormonal issues. We have all kinds of issues which are happening in the house, and everything is there online. So we all try to keep a check on all the gadgets that are there in the house. Like I said, browser histories, search histories, what kind of apps are they looking at, what kind of apps are they downloading. And a very good indicator of what searches are being done online is the kind of ads that pop up when you see Google, or when you open YouTube, or when you open your Play Store. It'll sort of give you, because it shows you through the AI, it shows you things that you're already looking for. It will show you similar stuff. So we then get an idea of what the kids have been looking for. So we try to tell them that this is not the right thing that you should be looking for, and try to counsel them that this is, even if you're looking for it, it's not the right thing to look for. Like, I'll give you the example of my 6-year-olds. They are currently obsessed with Nerf guns, which I really have a problem with, because to me, they're very, very violent. And on the slide, they've been looking for Nerf gun videos, and they've been looking for Nerf guns images on Googles and things like that. Now, this is a very small thing when compared to the bigger crimes out there, but this is where it starts. So I saw it in the history, and I told them that I can find out anything, so don't hide anything from me. So if you keep that line of conversation open, I think that's the best way to go about it. Just be very mindful, and even if your children say that they're doing something, trust them, but always go back and check what they're doing.
Sure. Thank you so much, Namrata ji. Now, there are many more questions coming up, but sorry, participants, we are having very shortage of time. One question and we'll just wind it up. So one question is, because luckily we are having all women panelists over here, and family is always, the Indian traditional families are always ki ladki ye nahi karna chahiye, and all. So when you are very coming viral on social media and all, so there might have been also a lot of family pressure also कि अबे लोग ऐसे लोग ऐसे देख रहे हैं, लोग क्या कहेंगे, and all that family drama. So any tips anyone would like to share on the family drama? Not exactly family drama, I'm not sure the word is right or wrong. But to parents, because when
maybe quickly 1 or 2 lines we all can say. So I would just say that as a society, there has always been this dogma that girls should be doing certain things, and they should not, caps lock, not be doing certain things. And this we have been facing since ages. While we were growing up, the society tells us this is the time you should be back at home, this is something which you should not wear and all. But where does all this come from? Because there are eyes which are looking at you, so we are never going to correct the eyes, rather we're going to correct what they are seeing. So that is a very wrong mentality. First of all, you should fix what people are looking at, the intentions of people, how to raise men. That is what people should be focusing upon, how to raise their voice, so that they don't have to control their girls. Because this is said, ladki bahar jayegi to bigad jayegi. Bhai kyun bigad jayegi? Aisa kya hoga? What is going to happen? What they are actually scared of? So you should actually control the things which are actually potentially harming this whole situation for girls. And yes, definitely I would come to the point that we all, on the girls, are facing all this because of the society, how we are raised and all. But who is going to change it? if we are not coming out and we are not, actually fighting for the rights, why, if we are not talking about the equality, then who is actually going to change? So the people who actually come forward and who are watching this, I would say that it is not about, we are not here to influence you, wear short clothes. We are not here to, being open and being broad-minded is not just about your clothes. It's about your perception and how you see it. So be open and do not dull your expression of life because of anything. Do not let your aliveness die because of anything. आपके सबसे पहले जो लोग घर में ही बोलते हैं आपके सपने जो है, अरे ये क्यों करना है, ये थोड़ी हो पाएगा. So the dream snatchers are there around you all over the place, but you should believe in your dream and you should know if you're not harming anybody, it is not bad. So it requires guts, and I'm sure the fellow members who are on this call, they must have also faced. So I would just ask them to go with it.
Thank you so much, Twinkle ji.
I think more than the family, the immediate family, it's the log, the society, the relatives who are, more keen and more pokey about things that you do, because the immediate family knows who you are. The upbringing has come through them. They know what you're doing. By the end of the day, I think if there is transparency between you and your family, like Namrata said, for her children, if at all kids are actually sharing what they're doing, and the parents are well aware, like if I would just take my case, if my parents are well aware, and now since I'm married, so my husband is well aware, I really don't care what any other person or any society says, because by the end of the day, and I think my husband now, because obviously a lot of people say that ye nahi hona chahiye, ye wo nahi hona chahiye. So my husband has stood by the fact that I am aware, I am okay with it, so there's no problem. And I think that's what family does. Bahar ke log don't matter till the time your family knows. So I think that's what.
Yeah, in my case, I love what you both have said, but in my case, if anybody says log kya kahenge, I'll be like, bolne do. 4 दिन मेरी बात करेंगे, 5वें दिन किसी और को ढूंढ लेंगे, जो बोलना है बोलने दो.
Thank you so much, Namrata ji, for that. I would say, as a business perspective, अगर बोल रहे हैं, तो I would say, हाँ, अच्छा है, they are doing your marketing, take it in a positive, as much positive as you can, and go ahead with that. So
good publicity or bad publicity is all.
कुछ तो लोग कहेंगे, लोग का काम है कहना, right?
Yes, so very, very true, and thank you so much, everyone, panelists and all the participants for joining us and spending. It was planned for half an hour, but the conversation is need of the hour, and we took 15 minutes extra on that.
You should not forget that you're talking to girls.
Yes. Thank you so much once again.
Stereotype girls. Everybody talks a lot.
Yeah, I'm like I'm just not out of words now, because as now the fear has made that all girls panelists are there now. Till now I was not having that feeling yet. So thank you so much once again, Twinkle ji, Namrata ji, and Prerna ji for joining and spending time with us. With us, I would like to take wind up the session, and do post your for participants, do post your questions in the comments, and we'll try to answer them as soon as possible. And do follow.
One moment. I'm sorry to cut you. Before you hang up, everybody has to come for a picture.
Yes, definitely. That's the need, must thing.
Yes.
Because
I'm so sorry. Please,
yes. do share that, tag all of
surely.
And all the Instagram handles of Namrata ji, Twinkle ji, and Prerna ji are there in the description. Do follow them, do know about their work, and support them with their work. Thank you, because they have spent around an hour and telling their experiences with you. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day. Bye. See you again.
Thank you,
Rupesh.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you, everybody.